as soon as it goes by the head unit.
The grand jury convened a month after the wedding.
In 1 mile, turn left onto State Route 727.
Murder and poisoning accusations. Detectives discovered that my fiancé had used my identity to open credit cards and take out loans. He had faked my signature on documents and set up false email accounts in my name to approve transactions. The grand jury indicted him on 15 counts, including attempted murder in the first degree, aggravated assault, identity theft, and fraud. His lawyer attempted to negotiate a 15-year plea offer, but Rachel refused anything less than 25. She told me she wanted him locked up until he was too old to harm others. My brother came over one evening when my parents were gone, and we sat on the back porch where we used to play as children. He ultimately told me everything about that night, including how he snuck into the flat and discovered the notebook hidden beneath other books, reading my fiancé's notes about my symptoms worsening, calculating how much more mercury I could take, and preparing how to act when I died. He tried to call me, but my fiancé had blocked his number on my phone without my knowledge. Going to the police chief at 2 a.m. was his final hope for legal assistance. When the chief called my fiancé, rather than arresting him, my brother realized he only had a few hours before I died. He bought the petrol can at an all-night station and spent the drive to the chapel trying to think of an alternative.
Turn left onto State Route 727. Then the destination is on your left.
We both burst into tears, and I told him that I could never thank him enough for saving my life. 2 months after the wedding, the state police arrested the chief on allegations of obstructing justice and abuse of office.
The destination is on your left.
Then he called my fiancé.
Arrived.
After my brother presented him with evidence. He also destroyed the initial report my brother attempted to make and directed other officers to... lose track of what I was doing midway through chores. My hands shook as I tried to type, and I had to take breaks every hour because I was so fatigued. My boss was very understanding, allowing me to work from home most days with flexible hours.
Pull over. I want you to do the pace when we get to this next spot.
Spreadsheets while my hands
Okay.
I wondered whether I'd ever feel normal again. When confronted with actual prison time, the pharmacist friend who had helped prepare everything went completely insane. His lawyer contacted Rachel and offered to testify against my fiancé in return for a lower sentence. He kept meticulous records of every interaction they had regarding dosing, timing, and how to make it appear natural. My fiancé's text conversations revealed him asking about drug interactions.
All right.
Start en route.
My parents announced their separation a week
In 5.2 miles, turn left onto Chatham Road.
existing problems impossible to ignore. My mother blamed my father for pressuring me to marry, claiming he ignored her reservations about my fiancé because he wanted me to settle down. My father chastised her for not recognizing the indicators of abuse, claiming that a mother should be meticulous records of every interaction they had regarding dosing, timing, and how to make it appear natural. My fiancé's text conversations revealed him asking about drug interactions and whether mercury would be detected in a regular autopsy. The pharmacist had even taken notes on my fiancé's intention to inject me with a
Last
final
time I shot a
concentrated
train 2
dose
years ago,
during our
the crazy
honeymoon.
guy
With his
cussed me
testimony,
out here.
the case against my
When I was
fiancé
shooting
was
the train-
almost
shooting the
certain to
train.
be conviction.
Oh,
My
there it
parents
is.
announced their separation the week before the trial was set to begin. The stress of everything had made existing problems impossible to ignore. My mother blamed my
There's a
father for
railroad line at
pressuring
one
me to
time.
marry, claiming he ignored her reservations about my fiancé because he wanted me to settle down. My father chastised her for not recognizing the indicators of abuse, claiming that a mother should have noticed her daughter had been poisoned. They'd been fighting non-stop since the wedding and decided they needed space. Watching my family fall apart as a result of my fiancé's actions made me detest him more than the poisoning itself. Detective Holt called me the next morning while I was at another treatment session, her voice strained from what she had just learned. She'd obtained a warrant for my fiancé's credit card information and discovered monthly payments to a storage facility across town that he had rented 3 months before we were engaged. The hazmat team discovered 12 vials of mercury compounds, as well as needles preloaded with various doses and a notebook in which he had written down backup plans in case the wedding poisoning failed. He intended to continue dosing me after we married, making it appear like a chronic condition that would gradually kill me over time, while he played the loyal husband caring for his sick wife. The storage container also had bogus medical paperwork near me, claiming I had a family history of neurological issues and putting up a scenario for after my death. I threw up when she told me about the mercury-filled children's prescription bottles he planned to hide around our future home to appear like an accidental poisoning if anyone became suspicious. My treatments lasted 6 more months, with me visiting the hospital 3 times a week at first, then twice, and then once for monitoring. Dr. Samuel performed blood tests at each visit, observing my mercury levels gradually fall from the dangerous red zone to yellow, and ultimately into the safe range. Finding 12 vials of mercury in that storage container made me wonder how long my fiancé had been planning this entire thing. Was it truly only for our wedding, or has he done this before? My hair started growing back in patches at first, then more evenly, but it was thinner and had a different texture than previously. The tremors in my hands improved, but never totally disappeared, especially when I was fatigued or anxious. Some days were worse than others, with headaches that made me want to stay in bed and confusion that caused me to forget simple things like where I had left my keys. Dr. Samuel told me that I was fortunate to have survived it all, as most people with my levels of exposure would have lifelong kidney damage or worse. The trial date was established for 8 months after the wedding, giving both parties time to prepare and allowing me to heal sufficiently to testify. Jury selection alone took 2 weeks due to the media hype, with potential jurors admitting they had already formed opinions after seeing the wedding video that had been released online. The judge had to summon people from nearby counties to discover anyone who had not heard about the burning altar or the hostage situation. Seeing my fiancé in court for the first time since that day made my entire body shake, and I had to rush to the restroom to throw up before we even began. He had lost weight in jail, and his burns had healed to leave brilliant pink scars on his wrists and arms. But his eyes were cold and calculating, much as when he held the knife to my throat. I testified for 3 days in a row, detailing every sign I'd ignored, every lie I'd believed, and every time I'd trusted him with my life without realizing he was steadily stealing it away. His lawyer attempted to make me appear insane, questioning if I had invented or exaggerated symptoms for attention, but the medical records spoke for themselves. She questioned why I hadn't seen my money vanishing, or my health deteriorating, attempting to make me appear ignorant or reckless. I detailed how the mercury had confused me.
In 1 mile, turn left onto Chatham Road.
And how he had isolated me from people who could have detected something was amiss. When I described the moment he seized the knife and pushed it against my throat. Several jurors appeared distraught, and one woman had tears streaming down her cheeks. My brother stood up next, still looking terrible about the fire, despite the fact that everyone knew he had saved my life. He burst into